Meanwhile, it's time to get to the Michigan Panic Meter. We will be doing this every single show here. And I can admit now there are 5 levels. You can't see that.
By the way, we're working on imaging for this. So
Mm-hmm.
today Nick's going to describe it, and you're
I'm going to
have
paint
to
the word picture.
Yeah, you're going to have to kind of picture it in your head. But the hope is for future episodes, we have an actual graphic that we'll have on the screen here. And, well, for the podcast audience, you just have to head to our social media handles at Nick Wilson Says and at Spencito_, and you'll see it there so you can see where we were at this week or each week.
The Michigan Panic Meter consists of 5 levels. The least panicked is gray. The second least panicked is light gray. The neutral, neither panicked nor stoked, or wait, no, not panicked, stoked, whatever, is white. The second most panicked level is light scarlet. And then the full-blown panic side of things is scarlet, full scarlet, blood red scarlet. And I will say I started the day at light scarlet. I had started to doubt Ohio State, and I needed this game to validate that they could win a game that they should win. They should. They were the favorites, but that could easily get away from them. And they did pass a test today. And Kyle McCord, for all the things we've said, passed a test. They did not lose this game. In fact, they went out and won this game. So I'm downgrading myself from a light scarlet all the way to white. I am now neutral. Although if Michigan really puts the boots to Michigan State, or I reserve the right to panic is what I'm saying.
You always reserve the right to change your mind. Yes. I would say I probably started the day. I mean, listen, if I'm throwing out that they were going to lose by double digits, I feel like that probably explains where I was at. I was full-fledged Scarlet. Yeah. And I would say I've kind of reverted back to where you were to start the day, which is more of a light Scarlet. I mean, we know what the problem's been with that what the bugaboo's been against that Michigan team the last couple of years. They just get out physicaled. And that worries me. Like, I'm not saying today, I will say, and why I'm willing to move off the Scarlet, because they won, but also maybe I would say like I'm in the lower end of the light Scarlet as well, because I did feel like Ohio State played a lot more physical today than I've seen them play in other games. So that's encouraging, but do I think it's enough still to jump or leap past that Michigan team? I'm not quite there yet or convinced yet. I mean, and the other thing is, we talked a lot about Kyle McCord on this podcast. We talked a lot about the offense and some of the issues that he's had moving the football down the field. Michigan is averaging 39 points a game, Nick, almost 40 points a game. Like, yeah, like their defense is going to be good, and like Ohio State might keep you in that game for a while, but we've seen Michigan put up points on this defense already, like we saw last year, and that worries the hell out of me that they're going to be able to just do it again. And Ohio State, in this instance, when you have CJ Stroud, it's different. Like, you feel like you might be able to dig yourself out of that hole. I don't know if I feel as confident about that with Kyle McCord. So I would say I'm a light Scarlet at the moment.
Can I tell you this, though? Everything you just said was about Michigan and not nearly enough about Ohio State. And so it's not that you're wrong, by the way. It's really not.
It is the Michigan Panic Meter, Nick. We're supposed to talk about context of Michigan.
Guys, it's been 2 weeks here. All right, sorry, it's been 2 games that Michigan's gotten a better review. Before that, for 20 years, you beat the ass. Okay, you beat that ass. So all I'm saying is, once we got through a couple weeks and we saw who this team was, I don't think there was anything they could have done after the Notre Dame game up into the Michigan game where we were all of a sudden going to be sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. But what I will tell you is they are battle tested. They even though they're not consistently the most physical team, they do find physicality when it matters. And more importantly, they've passed every test. They might not have passed every test with A++++ like we're used to. Sure, it's a C+ or a B-, but the reality is you're 7-0. And I think if you're going into that game undefeated, and you're going into it at light Scarlet or Scarlet, I think I don't know you're giving this team enough credit. Now, with all this being said, we're going to end each podcast with a different bit. Post game, we're going to do love it, like it, leave it. I'm going to try in about 30 seconds on each one of these. I'm going to try and give you mine, and then you can give me yours there. My first love it, my only love it, is Penn State going 0 for 15 on third down conversions until 45 seconds left. That to me shows an outright ass kicking by the Ohio State defense. And we can quibble all we want about, oh, well, but they never went to their strength. And those are fair things to say. That's on James Franklin. But the reality is the Ohio State defense played the game that was in front of them. And led by our guy JT and a couple other great performances, they kicked the holy crap out of the Penn State offense. Then, to my like it, I feel like I need like an impressive voice guy to do this so I sound better. But Jaden Fielding going 4 for 4 on kicks until it didn't matter. He missed a field goal late in that game.
I like it.
Yeah. But I got to say, I was sweating, man. Like, what was it? A 39-yarder. I think there was a 40-yarder there. I was sweating some of these kicks, and the kid went out there. The kicking game was going to be important. The Penn State kicker didn't really let him down either. But more importantly, you didn't miss a kick until the game no longer really was in balance. And then my leave it, quite simply, James Franklin's decision-making. And just, I mean, I think Ryan Day is a little too conservative, but at least he is somewhat consistent with that. James Franklin bounces all over the I'm going to go for it and I'm going to not lose this game meter. I think it was embarrassing. And I hate it for James. I wish he could figure it out so Penn State could be a worthy adversary. They're not.
All right, I'll take the reins on this, and I'm going to start with my love it with a name that we actually haven't mentioned once today on the podcast, and probably deserves more flowers in terms of just Ohio State this entire season and the success they've had, but also in this game specifically, and that is defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. This guy has completely turned this defense around from a year ago, where they were giving up big plays. He's disguising looks even better than he did last year. He has kept the big plays from happening, and he has put together a group that believes that they can win any game that they're in. It's a super impressive group all around. I had some doubts, but I also knew going into the season that year 2 of Jim Knowles' defenses tend to be pretty good, and he is passing that test with flying colors like this. And that's the thing that's a little unfortunate, Nick, is like if you had CJ Stroud still here, 100% we would feel like this team is a bona fide national championship contender, maybe even the top dog in that conversation because the way Georgia's played in some games and Michigan at times, even though they get that test eventually. But yeah, like this defense is certainly championship caliber. My like it specific to the defense, I want to say just the name JT Tuimoloau. He obviously was fantastic today.
That's why I only said my guy JT, because I knew if I tried it, it was going to go pretty much the way it always goes.
I'm pretty sure it's Tuimoloau, right? Tuimoloau. Moloau. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. All right.
We got it.
I'm usually pretty good at that stuff, and I'm usually proud of myself
I'm usually pretty bad at it, but it's okay.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah, he had a great game. He only had 1 sack. I thought he had another one for some reason, but I know he at least was making plays in the backfield. And I think to kind of add on to just his performance, the pass rush in general today, best I've seen from this team in a while. And I hope it's a sign of things to come because he sort of anchored it all. But all those guys, Mike Hall, obviously, I think that Sawyer had some moments as well. That entire group, Ty Hamilton, Talik Williams, those guys were fantastic today. And then lastly, my leave it. I'm just going to say the Devin Brown package. Leave it behind. If this was a road game, I would have said leave it in State College. You don't need it anymore. They talked about on the broadcast too, like all they do is run out of it. They apparently have some pass plays in there, but all I've ever seen him do is run. And it's useless. It feels like they're just trying to give him something to do because they're like, oh, well, we feel bad you lost the quarterback competition. So, hey, here's this package with like 9 plays, and all we're going to do is run the ball. And now you got hurt. So great.
They're saving the Devin Brown pass package till the Michigan game. I think it's just a deep state.
Oh, that's when it's coming out, huh? That's when it's coming out. That's going to be the difference in the Michigan game.